Okay, so as we all know, they updated the game yesterday to 3.5, the trading update. And with that trading update, there was a lot of other stuff that wasn't really like relevant. The M1 damage on Trident and other weapons, fixed knockbacks on moves such as Shigan, Thousand Brick Fist, and Gravity Push, whatever. But there was one major nerf that people just like they find no reason to have. People are saying, why did they nerf gun to the ground? Legit, why have a gun mastery if it's useless? Devs are stupid for nerfing gun. It's OP in CB's farm. Me waiting for M16 to come. Oh no, wait. Somebody literally went inside the bug reports channel and said, why is my gun doing less damage than before? So what they did was, well, hold on, let me show you. So I'm putting a picture on the screen right here. They nerfed pistols slash rifles because only one person was complaining about it, or maybe a few people were complaining about it. It doesn't matter. Why would they nerf guns? Okay, listen to me here. How do you think people are supposed to grind up this game if they don't have anything to do anything? They can't get a fruit because they're too low level. They can't fight a sea beast because they don't have a fruit. They can't farm dungeons if their gun does 2 damage. If you search up gun inside the search bar on the top right, you'll see that there are a lot of people that are complaining about the gun nerf. Like, Foyu, you've done so well nerfing and buffing stuff. Well, for the most part. But gun? Why would you nerf gun? Foyu, if you're watching this, please buff gun again. There's no point of nerfing it. Most people don't use it because well, they don't need it. I mean, like, we got like swords and devil fruits. We're high enough level to like not need a gun anymore. But low levels and people who actually are high levels actually like they need this. People need this. The only reason why you should nerf guns is if you're gonna add more common fruits or any fruits in general. We're not gonna be stuck here using a few a katana. That's literally the only option these noobs have left, and the katana isn't even good. The only useful range move that they have, that the katana has, is the ultimate, and it takes a while for the cooldown. How are they supposed to cross the seas without having a gun? Or how are they supposed to cross the seas with a Suki? What, they throw a rock at the sea beast? The leveling system in this game is so slow. Don't ruin it even more by patching the only thing that's actually useful to people. Because there are a lot of people, like I said before, that are complaining that the gun nerf has came to 3.5. No one wants it. No one wants this nerf. And I actually have a video right here of somebody actually going into great detail as to why guns shouldn't be nerfed.
Guns were already very hard to use in GPO, as they had many difficulties when you were using them. Unlike fruits or even swords, you had no AoE attacks. A small projectile and that's it. A small projectile that could be easily blocked whenever your opponent chose to. Many things, even besides blocking, could stop your shot. Things like particles obstructing your vision, your opponent simply rolling or getting behind cover, or even worse, your opponent using Geppo or Devil Fruit Flight abilities. Or the sad fact that they can simply move slightly to the left and immediately ruin your whole shot. The only reason guns were barely viable was the nice damage output they had gained, as 330 stats for 188 damage with Haki may not seem reasonable at first. That is until you think about all the things I have stated prior. You will barely ever hit a shot, but the ones you do hit will always have an impact. People once said that guns should be nerfed, not knowing they could be countered immediately simply by holding F, or hiding behind that beautiful house in Shellstown. The only reason I was able to do so well with guns were 2, although basic reasons. They have a huge impact on how well you can do. 1. I constantly worked on my aim, to a point where I have a 96 accuracy rating on AimLab, which, if you do not know, is a well-known aim trainer that I use daily. And number 2, I constantly trained my movement. This would make it so I had higher chances of going behind my enemy and hitting them in the back, as well as make it harder for me to be hit. However, as one would think, this was never 100%, as people who know how to track targets well can bust that plan nearly 100% of the time. Not only this, but the giant bugs that came with guns. Ghost shots, the head hitbox not registering most of the time, and sometimes there being random bullet spread which can ruin a shot you sometimes desperately needed. I kindly ask that you bring guns back to how they were before. Even if I have to fight a sea beast at 50% power, I personally don't mind as long as everything else is how it was. Gun mains are a very few amount of people in the community. That being for the reason that guns are nearly impossible to use for nearly anyone. The reason I used guns was because of how rewarding it was, and how rewarding it can feel when you hit an amazing shot out of nowhere. That dopamine rush you get is the main reason I play this game. But with guns being worse than how they were in Update 1, I find it very hard to play the game anymore. This may not mean anything to you, Foyu, as I'm only one of the thousands. But I really hope you take the time to hear me out. I enjoy your game. When you updated guns to be able to block, something as simple as that, I was the only one in that entire suggestions box who didn't complain about anything. As I said, and I quote, "I greatly appreciate what you've done for us. Blocking is something a lot of people take for granted. I'm glad that you gave us gun mains a leg to stand on." End quote. But now, it feels like that I, a gun main, will lose that sense of fulfillment. Despite all of the bugs that came with it, I still kept playing. Because of how fun these simple little weapons were, no matter how many times I thought of quitting, I kept on pushing forward and finally managed to show a lot of people how fun guns can be. I kindly yet very much desperately ask that you give gun mains our original stats back. A handful of bad apples shouldn't punish a small community of players that are thrilled just getting something simple like being able to block. And this small-time community shouldn't get punished for putting in the constant hours of work for something that can be done at not even a fraction of the time just by eating a pika or a gura. I hope you listen to this, for you. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Oh, and one more thing. I like how Foyu says that guns need to be nerfed, but he doesn't nerf the Pika bosses in dungeons!